Hello. Okay, is it working now? This is my first live stream ever. No, I'm not Jet9s. Okay, is it working now? This is my first live stream ever.
Am I live?
No, I'm not Jet9s. I hope so. Let's take a look.
Am I live? Oh yes, there I am. Okay, so
Am I live? Let's take a look.
oh, welcome to the first.
Oh yes,
ever
there I am.
sing
Okay,
and scream
so live stream.
welcome to
I'm
the first
super
ever.
excited. Sing and
I'm
scream.
really nervous. This is
Live
the first
stream
time ever that
I'm
I'm streaming
super
something.
excited that I'm
I'm
doing a
really
live stream.
really nervous. This is the
First
first
time ever that I'm
yeah.
streaming something.
So my heart
that I'm doing a live stream.
is racing. Yeah.
So my heart.
But yeah, welcome. There are a
Is
couple.
racing.
So of course you can ask me
Everything
but
you want to ask
yeah,
me. in
welcome.
the
There
chat.
are a couple. So of course
I
you can
also
ask me
have
a little bit
everything
of
you want to
an
ask me in
agenda.
the chat.
I also have
some
I
things
also have
I'd like
a
to
little bit of
discuss.
of an agenda.
I also have
I should get
some
out that are
things
important.
I'd like to discuss.
Oh,
I
it's
think,
echoing. All right.
I
Let
should
me
get out that are
see.
important. If I
Oh, it's echoing. All right.
okay.
Let me
Give me a
see.
second.
If I echo. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, let's take a listen. Is that better? Is the echo wet? Is the echo gone? Yeah, my YouTube
let's take a listen.
tab
Is that better?
is closed.
wet? Is the echo
Gone? Yeah, my YouTube tab
Let's see if the echo is better
is
now.
closed.
Off the stream in the right corner.
Let's see if the echo is better now. Okay.
Off
Oh,
the
right.
stream in
Very
the
good.
right
Okay,
corner.
let me turn up the volume on my speakers, though.
Okay. And let's see if the echo
Oh,
comes
right.
back.
Very good. Okay, let me turn up the volume on my
Not
speakers,
fixed.
though.
And let's see if
Okay.
the echo comes back.
Fixed now, not fixed. Not yet.
Not
fixed.
Okay.
Okay. Fixed now, not
Let me use
fixed.
some headphones.
Not yet.
Okay. Okay, let's see.
Let me use some headphones.
Not even close. Right.
Okay,
Thank
let's
you,
see.
Dominic. Not even close. Right.
turn
Thank you, Dominic. Okay, how's that now? Is that better? Okay, how's that now? Is that better? Okay, let's see if I can... Monitoring is off everywhere. Okay, let's see if I can... Monitoring is off everywhere. Yeah, echoes. But where's that coming from? Where's the echo coming from? Yeah, echoes. But where's that coming from? Where's the echo coming from? What am I doing wrong? See, I'm like a boomer here. What am I doing wrong?
You
See,
guys
I'm
have
like
any idea
like
where
a
that could
boomer
be
here.
coming from? Let me.
There's no audio.
You guys have any
So
idea where that could be coming from? Let me-
Maybe. Okay,
maybe
maybe that's
no
the problem.
audio.
So
Okay,
where
let's see.
could be?
Did that
Maybe.
solve it?
Maybe that's the problem. Okay, let's see. Did that solve it?
Also, only on the left speaker. Okay. Also, only on the
That
left
solve
speaker.
it?
Okay. That's my
Did
USB,
that
right?
solve
Yeah.
it?
I have echo on everything. That's my USB, right? Yeah.
okay.
I have echo on everything.
You
guys are awesome. Yeah, I didn't mute YouTube. I only have take a look. You
Maybe.
guys are awesome. Yeah, I didn't
let's
mute
close
YouTube.
Reaper.
I only have
Okay.
take a look.
Maybe.
So this is literally the only thing I have
let's
open up
close
here is
Reaper.
Streamlabs.
Okay.
So this is literally the only thing
And
I have open
YouTube
up here is
Streamlabs.
nothing going on here. And YouTube, nothing going on here. Take a look at this. Yeah. No monitoring. It's gone now. No monitoring. It's gone now. Wow, 15 people already in here. Let's see. Okay, chat. Is this
Wow,
is it
50
gone? 15 people already in here.
Only on
Let's
the
see.
left
Okay, chat.
speaker. Take your
Is
time.
this it gone? Only on the left speaker. Take your time. Okay. Okay. Try to off the stream in the right side. Try to off the stream in the right side. I'm so sorry, seriously. I did a sound check. I'm so sorry, seriously. 2 hours ago.
I did a sound check,
and it didn't.
I did a sound check.
There was no echo.
2 hours ago,
No.
and it didn't. There was no echo.
No audio.
See now, you see me struggling here.
Maybe
See now,
it's
you see me struggling here.
Maybe it's the.
Yeah, thanks, Alex.
Yeah, thanks, Alex.
Maybe great to do a podcast with yourself. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Maybe
So it's still echoing, isn't it?
podcast with yourself.
Still yeah, you're absolutely right. So it's still echoing, isn't it? It's still echoing. All right, I gotta Google, right? I gotta Google. I have no other choice. All right,
yes,
I gotta Google, right?
speakers are turned off.
No other choice. Only Streamlabs
yes,
running. Speakers are turned off. Only Streamlabs running.
So and it's
Only this mic. So and it's only this mic. Only on the yeah. Only on the yeah.
only on the left speaker.
So where could this be coming from?
Only on the left
totally
speaker.
clueless. So where could this be
let's
coming
just
from?
Check.
I'm totally clueless. Okay, let's just check. Okay, see. Okay, see. Maybe let's take a look at this. Maybe let's take a look at this. Five seconds delayed. 5 seconds delayed. So doesn't so the only something's playing in your stream, that's why it's echoing. So you don't have anything.
Doesn't
open.
so
Yeah.
the only
I literally only have.
That's why it's echoing. You don't have anything.
Yeah. I literally
Another
only
mic
have.
input.
No, I only have one. Wait. That's it. Okay, I
Another
got it.
mic
I got it.
input.
Now, how about this? How about this? Was that it? I think it was the video capture device in here. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Okay, let's check if I can still play the background music and if that works. See, that was the video capture device there. Oh my God. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, see? I was born in '94, okay? I'm not like totally digitally native. So hope that's okay. Okay, so now we can start proper. Yeah, Jesus Christ, exactly. So what I want to talk about today is first of all, of course, the Chester Bennington screaming technique, where video is coming, but it's gonna be another like 30-second video, and I do hope that, and I heard that from many of you guys, that they do help. But of course, they are so short that I can't really explain anything. I can't explain why I go through this exercise, and then I go through that exercise, and I go to that exercise. Yeah, because of just the nature of the videos. And it can also get really confusing, especially with fry screens. And this is what I'd like to discuss mainly, is the problems with fry screens, especially the terminology. A little spoiler warning is that there are at least three different fry screams which all have one thing in common, but which use different techniques. I'd love to see some content on how to scream with distortion. Oh yeah, yeah. So this is gonna come in. This is gonna come in handy. So there are three types of fry screams, and so really three different techniques people refer to as fry screams, but which are different screams, but they can sound pretty similar. And I guess that most of you have heard about the kind of the vocal fry scream method. Exactly, vocal fry scream, where you see this in so many tutorials where people tell you, okay, go into your vocal fry, which is just the register, right? But you can take it higher, kind of into your normal talking voice. I like to call that creaking, or like one singing school, complete vocal technique calls that creaking. And that is that, right? Vocal fry is just the register. That is your lowest register. That is in the American dialect when you go, oh my god, right? Yeah. Should I close the Streamlabs? I need to. I need to see the chat. And you can take this higher. But you do notice that it's like really far from what an actual, scream is supposed to sound like. And when you watch the tutorials where people tell you, okay, do a vocal fry and then just try to do that louder, or try to do the vocal fry and then like a loud note in there at the same time, lots of people have trouble with this, where they do the vocal fry, but they just can't get it louder. And it always kind of stays around that level. And the reason for that is this vocal fry, or this irregular phonation of the vocal folds. This can happen in every mode, or in every register, or at every volume of your voice. So when we want to discuss how Chester Bennington did his fry screams, we need to go over this. So it's going to become a little technical. Chester's screams are one of the three types of fry screams. And they are the type where you have the false folds creating distortion. Me bringing in my false folds. And then at the same time, his vocal folds also produce distortion. His vocal folds go into an irregular phonation, which technically is the same thing as that quiet, but you won't get to this by going to the quiet vocal fry. It does help to understand what is going on, but I've never seen someone successfully do like that quiet one and then just kind of grow it magically. It's most of all that people find it when they sing a note in their chest voice, go higher than they can go, and then they just suddenly slip into a scream. So we want to learn how Chester Bennington does his scream. How do we do that? Right? If the vocal fry, if that one will not get us to where we want to be. Where we want to be is where the vocal folds go into this irregular phonation, right? And so instead of making like wave phonation, doing one clear note, we want to have them produce distortion where they don't close like this, but kind of chaotically. But at the same time, we also need the false folds in there, producing even more distortion, because that vocal fry on its own, that sounds pretty creepy. Pretty creaky, right? I can make that louder, and you're gonna hear how that sounds. So that's technically the. Now, let's do that phonation, but from a little bit more volume with my voice and also a bit of a higher pitch. So from and you can hear how suddenly it doesn't sound as bad, right? It sounds kind of okay, but it's still sounding a little creaky. But you heard that now it sounds quite a bit more powerful, quite a bit more distorted, and not like the kind of the creaky door noise. So we went in terms of power or in terms of volume, we went from that really quiet head voice note. We did the same maneuver where the voice is truly still kind of in that mode, but closing irregularly. Now we want to do that with a little bit of a louder voice. So some people call this a mixed voice. And to go to that Chester Bennington scream, we need to do that with an even louder voice. We need to do that. Yeah, I'm explaining it right now. We need to do that with from there to go into this scream. And usually if you start all the way here, you will not be able to make this louder and then end up with the proper scream, but we have to start from there. So when you see people explaining, okay, like this is a fry scream, that means we have a vocal unit fry in there. It's not true for all fry screams, but for some fry screams it is indeed true. We have to start from the volume where we want to end up with, because that quiet one, that's going to produce the creaky door noise. So what do we do? In case you're not sure that when I'm doing the that this is really just vocal folds, is you can hear, so the proof is that you can hear how as soon as I go into this other kind of phonation, so instead of vocal folds going like this, they go like this, you can hear that my voice is not as resonant anymore. You can still kind of make out the pitch that I'm singing inside, but you can hear that the voice is sounding much thinner. And also, so at the same time where the distortion comes in, the voice sounds much thinner. It doesn't have the resonance anymore. You can hear the pitch, but the voice is not really kind of there. It loses a lot of its body. And I cannot keep the body of the voice, like that fullness, that resonance, while still producing this distortion. So this points us to the fact that this is really coming from the vocal folds. Yeah! You can still hear the pitch, you can kind of make it out, but you do notice that as soon as I switch the phonation type, my voice is not as full and as thick anymore. And I'm going to get to the how do you do that. But before I tell you how you do that, you have to understand what is happening, because otherwise it's just going to be like a 30-second do that, do that, do that, do that, and then you're there. And that video is going to come, but I also want you to know what is happening. I want to give you my knowledge, right? Because let's not. I'll digress. How do we do that? When we are in the chest voice or in the chesty mixed voice, in the hey, in there. Let's first see how that vocal fry phonation sounds when I do that through all of my kind of volume modes, like for the quiet one, all head voice, or some people call it falsetto. Right, that's kind of the creaky door noise, or like the dinosaur scream, yeah, yeah, or the Marge Simpson Bart, right, that one. Now the one with like the heady mix voice. Yeah! And you see we're getting much closer. Okay, let's try that with a chestier voice. But I'm gonna do that with false distortion already in there. It's just way easier for me to do that. That's not a screaming style, by the way. I'm really good at it, so a little disclaimer. That's how it sounds. It will not be completely atonal, but you'll still be able to hear the pitch in there. One more time, I'm gonna try to shift between regular vocal fold phonation and false fold distortion at the top, and somewhat irregular vocal folds phonation while also maintaining the false fold phonation on top. So it's gonna look like. So that's the vocal fry maneuver or the creaking maneuver, but while I'm in that chesty mixed voice. Hey! Hey! You can hear that as soon as I bring in some of that vocal fry in there, how my voice inside loses some of the resonance. Same thing we observed when we did that with that mixed voice. But it gains additional distortion. But it does not sound creaky, right? It does not have that, like that shitty vocal fry scream sound that does not sound really powerful and where you need lots of distortion in the mix to get this to sound full and impressive. But instead, it does sound full, and it sounds almost more like kind of a second gear that my voice tips into, or like just the distortion becomes kind of more chaotic in a way, because that's coming from the vocal folds underneath there. And again, you see that as soon as I go into this, my voice kind of becomes less clear inside there. You can still hear the pitch, yes, but you do hear that the voice does not sound as resonant and full anymore. But of course on that pitch, well, that's like a D5, on that pitch, it's not gonna sound really full either way. So let's see if I can also show you that on a lower note, so you can see that. All right, so go to that D5. Hey, right? That would be full normal vocal fold phonation, but also false fold phonation on top. So false fold distortion on top, and vocal fold, normal vocal fold movement underneath. Hey! Hey! And there you can hear it. That my voice kind of becomes less full inside there. The distortion becomes more chaotic. So this is what is happening when Chester is screaming, but of course, or Chester was screaming, but of course, he's way better at this than I am. He was really, really, really good at this, and also at really, you can control as to, when you're really good at this, you can control as to how far your voice goes into that chaotic pattern. So how far do I go into almost total distortion? This type of scream will never be just total distortion, like almost just white noise. You will always hear the pitch inside the scream, and even if it's very distorted, you can still hear the pitch inside the scream there. So how do you do that? Let's bring out the PowerPoint here, okay? So you have something visual. So this vocal fry phonation, this happens. This vocal fry phonation exists for each of the complete vocal technique calls that modes of your voice, or also for each pattern of mass, right? So how full is the note I'm singing? So when I sing I can sing that note really head voicey and really thin. And then when I enter the vocal fry phonation, it will sound very creaky. For each mode of the voice. Now I can of course sing that with more vocal fold mass. And then you see that the vocal fry again is much more full. Or I can also do that with that. Now, how do we do that? You have this kind of vocal fry phonation pattern for each mode of your voice, or for each volume mode, and you can picture that this phonation pattern is kind of underneath each mode. So underneath the underneath each of these. And your voice goes into that pattern if you use less, I'm going to put that in energy than required. I'm going to explain in a second what that means. So you need to use less energy than you really need to sing this note. Or some also call that support. Oops. Then what also happens if you use an inappropriate vowel? And what also helps is if you already have false fold distortion and compression. So normally, and that is the reason why many singers have trouble with. So if you're a trained singer, like I am, and I've been singing for a long time, you have trouble with this kind of technique is because you learn how to sing properly, right? How when you go high, you need to properly support your voice, or otherwise your voice will break, right? So when you sing higher, especially higher and chesty, you need to become louder. So you need more energy for the note as it goes higher, and you need the appropriate vowel, right? First, to stay really chesty and in that loud mode. That's how you learn to sing, and that's how you sing without your voice breaking above where your bridge is. Now, when you go too little energy, so too little support for that high note, it will go to the next less energy mode, so to say. So it will go from that loud and chesty one to that more mixed, heady mix one, right? From the chesty mix, to that more, some people also call that reinforced falsetto. The names are so terrible singing, like the terms. Your voice will go to the next less energy mode. And if I go even less energy than that, it will go to that one. Now, the scream, or that vocal fry phonation, that is in between. That is if you use just less, a little bit less of what this mode requires, but not too little so that your voice goes into this one. So, viewer also, what happens if you do that naturally, most often the false folds also happen in my case here, will try to come in and kind of help the voice because there is too little energy. What energy means is that you have too little pressure underneath the vocal folds. So you have too little air pressure underneath the vocal folds to support that high note. That's the one thing you need to sing that high note, and to also, you need to consciously do that wrong to enter the scream there. The second thing is that you need an inappropriate vowel. What does that mean, inappropriate vowel? If you sing that note with a more of a heady mix, you need closed vowel. If you sing it really chesty, you need a you need that vowel. Hey! Now, if I consciously screw the vowel up, so say I want to sing that more with a mixed voice, but I choose a very open vowel, but I don't give enough energy, enough air pressure so that my voice can go into the next louder mode, then again my voice will break. Heard that? See, my voice does funny stuff if I intentionally sing that wrong, and that's totally normal. Or if I opened my mouth too far there. And this you can very often see with singers who use that technique, is that they go for really wide mouth shapes. Because if your mouth shape, what your mouth shape does, it also contributes to the pressure that affects your vocal folds, right? You can test that when you do a, right? You can feel the air bounce against your cheeks and then kind of back into your throat. Almost like a massage. And then if you open up, that energy is suddenly gone. To get back to the scream and how you can find that scream is you need to go to a high note, use less support or energy than is required for that note, and then you need to use an inappropriate vowel. So very often that is just super wide, which means very little air pressure. And then what very often helps, and that's how I usually go about that with my students, is that we first learn how to use compression and false fold distortion. And then we just sing higher and higher and higher, and most of the time it will almost just happen on its own. If you don't try to go louder and louder also as you go higher, it will just kind of happen. So for that, and how you can do that is you go to the compression, like this sound, and then you go a little louder, to trigger false fold distortion, and then you just climb piece by piece, or step by step. You climb higher and higher. There you can already hear how it's happening with me. And there it is. And now how can I go back to full voice, right? No vocal fold distortion, is do the opposite. Right vowel and more support. So that is how I enter the scream. Less energy than this note actually requires for me to sing it. Inappropriate vowel, so way too open. And also already false fold distortion and some compression. So that really helps. But of course, as always, every screaming technique is risky to an extent. So that means that I understand that not everyone can take lessons. And that's also why I give out the information for free. is because I believe that the reason why metal vocals are so risky, yeah, exactly. It's 40 euros for a single lesson, or 33 if you take 3 lessons. 3 lessons if you buy a 3-lesson bundle. That's 3 lessons for 100 euros. But of course, not everyone can afford that. And I believe that the problem with screaming is that, and the reason why so many screamers and aspiring screamers and vocalists hurt themselves when they scream, is that there is so little information about screaming, so little. And even the people who do YouTube videos on screaming, and I'm of course also guilty of that, right? With like 30-second videos, like how much information are you gonna get out of 30 seconds? But that's why I'm doing these, whereas I want to start with these live streams, is that you have pretty much, you have so little resources to work with. I mean, if you compare that to singing, yes, I will upload that once it's finished. If you compare that to singing, where you have so many resources, there's so many singing teachers. Of course, every singing teacher or every like singing school has their own thoughts about what is the correct singing or not the correct singing. But you have lots of resources you can go by. And by the way, professional singers still hurt themselves. Not everyone, but still common. Because if you sing every day, or you go on tour, and you have to just sing so often, you just demand a lot from your voice, and then it kind of becomes similar to like a professional athlete, right? If you're a pro athlete, there's always the risk of getting an injury. And it's the same, I believe it's the same thing if you are an extreme vocalist, right, that does extreme vocals very often, or if you are, of course, also if you're a singer or if you're a professional voice user, then you're always at risk at developing a vocal injury. Now, to get back, why do I do this? I do this so that there's more information about screaming, so that people will hurt themselves less because they have, just resources they can go by. Now, okay, let me take another look at the chat. So sorry I didn't answer your query. I just first live stream, okay, like taking the information from here and then the information from my brain, putting it out. That is not easy. So yeah, waves. That was the information about the Chester Bennington fry scream. So it is one of the 3 types of fry screams there are. And maybe I can go back about this because I didn't really explain what are the other 2, right? So you have and I like to call that the vocal fry scream, which is really just coming from the vocal folds. So this is this, and you can get really high with this. It will always sound kind of creaky. And the reason why I don't really like, it is a scream, right? I'm not the one to decide like this is a scream and this is not a scream. No, that's stupid, right? If you make a sound and you like how it sounds, and it doesn't affect you negatively at all, and it feels good to do, then I'm not the one to tell you that this is not a scream and you shouldn't be doing this, right? That's stupid. Of course, the opposite is if what you're doing is hurting you, right? But if it's not hurting you and you like how it sounds, go. If you like how this scream sounds, go for it. This scream is just coming from the vocal folds. And of course, you can compress the larynx a little bit more. You can also go a little louder incrementally, but in the end, it's always gonna sound pretty creaky, and it's very rarely do you see people using this. So this is the vocal fry scream, right? That's only vocal folds. I think the only band where you kind of see that is like some In Flames tracks, but I need to have to another list. But I think I heard that in there in that I am above, maybe that one. So this is the first kind of fry scream. And very often when people talk about fry screams, especially not really like professional screamers talk about fry screams, they talk about vocal fry screams as if they are the only fry scream, right? And like, of course, a fry scream must come from vocal, so that's the logic. Of course, a fry scream must come from vocal fry because it has the same name, right? Because that's fry. But I'd say fry scream just refers to screams that have this like frying pan kind of distortion, right? That kind of really almost white noisy. So that's the first one. Second one is the one I use in my 30-second tutorial. Oops, that's the you could also call that false fold and breathiness fry scream. That is where you use your false folds. Sorry. And then the vocal folds underneath. That was me starting with the breathiness and then bringing in the false folds. That is the one where, false folds are involved. Vocal tract is compressed, so the false folds close over the vocal folds almost completely. And then the vocal folds open up partially, and you can see that in the endoscopies I have on my YouTube channel. The vocal folds open up. That's the false folds. And the vocal folds open up to let some extra air through, and this is what makes the scream sound really atonal. And some good examples. So you often hear this kind of scream in more of the like 2000s kind of metal. So really good example is Miss Sugar. Bangs of fire sweep through my head. You can get quite low with this fry scream. So also Asking Alexandria with the lows, so like for these beefy lows, which are fry, right? If they're not false chord, for these beefy lows, that's very often this kind of fry scream. And then the third fry scream, that is the false fold and vocal fold, and false fold and vocal fry scream. That is the one that you hear Chester Bennington do. The links banned. Please search on YouTube, Grace. You can't post any links. God damn it. You can also, of course, tell me the song and then just the timestamp, and then I'm gonna take a look at that. And that is the scream that I demonstrated with where you have false fold activation. And you also have vocal fry inside there, but not from that really quiet from there, but from a chesty mixed voice. So these are the three types of fry scream. And then depending on what type of fry scream you're after, you have to use different approaches. So for that one, for the second one, I wrote a guide on that. That's what I call fry scream. This one I also like to call fry shout, because it will always sound shouty. It will always have a tone in them. So one good example, Chester Bennington, but also Sam Cotter, right? When Sam Cotter does this kind of screaming, there's very little vocal fry phonation in there. When he does his shouts, where it's really distorted, there's a lot of vocal fry phonation in there, but they're always loud. There always is false fold involvement. So it's never just vocal fry. So when helping people, okay, for how do you, I'm stuck at kind of this or that point. it's very hard to give a general advice for that because it depends on what kind of scream you are after. If you're after the latter one, or also some people also call this like a yell scream, or what you also hear is like sing screaming, could all fall under that kind of bracket. So if you're looking for the latter one, like number 3, you should try this, right? So you have vocal fry phonation for each mode of the voice. You need to do it in a chesty mix. This is where you need to start from. So go high. Oh, and the last one that's really important is you need to go high. So with these kind of fry screams, you very, very rarely see like really lows, right? Like really low fry screams. Most often just goes to more of a mid, like shouty sounding mid, but it almost never goes into low. That is because this area where you can intentionally sing wrong, right? Intentionally use less energy than it is required. Oh, sorry, than it is required. Use an inappropriate vowel, so way too open. And where also the false fault distortion and compression helps you. This area is up high in your voice, so it is not gonna be like around, like unless you have like super low voice, it's not gonna be around like A3 or something. It's gonna be around G4 if you're more of a baritone, or if you have generally more of a deeper voice, kind of F4 to G4, or for me that is around it's around at C5 D5. And of course, if you get better at this, you can also go into this kind of phonation on lower pitches. And for that, I'd recommend you practice going into the scream. Always, if you try some vocal fry stuff, always practice going into the vocal fry and then going back to the clean note that is truly within there, or from where this vocal fry you did came from, so that you do not unlearn. And that is really a danger of this technique, is that you unlearn how to properly support your voice. And instead of going higher and then going into your head voice, or going higher and going for a clean high note, you always accidentally go into the scream. Right? We don't want to have this happen. So if you find the scream, so going higher with a chest voice note, while already having false fault distortion, and then going into a very open vowel and just going higher without going louder or without giving more energy to the note, then once you find the scream, go back to clean voice. So so that you do not unlearn how do I actually, well, sing without going into this, because we always want to have distortion from the false faults and vocal fry phonation. We always want to have that as a conscious choice. So we need to know, okay, exactly where is that scream? What do I need to do to go into this? And then also, how do I find my way back? How do I find back into clean? Now, this is with every scream. It's really important. Well, at least with every fry scream. With the false start scream, since the vocal folds also go into a different phonatory pattern, it's not so important, but it's really important for all fry screams. Okay, so let's take a look at all of these timestamps here. So that Chester Bennington 224 given up scream, that is this one. That is what I've been discussing the last 45 minutes almost. And you can hear that this is false falls and also some vocal fry phonation, because as soon as he goes into the scream, it sounds less voicey. And you can still hear the pitch of the voice inside there, but it's less voicey, right? I'm kind of hesitant on opening up the link and then playing it, because I'm afraid that like it will be copyrighted, or it's copyright and whatever, and then my stream is gonna get
gonna block. Does anyone here like know about that? So yeah, you can hear it at that 224. So maybe gonna give it a try towards the end. But yeah, kind of hesitant about this. Okay, let's take a look at let me scroll up here. So I'm having trouble learning how to fry scream. Any advice? Again, that depends on what kind of fry scream you are after. I think the first step to pretty much learning any scream, it doesn't really matter towards which kind of scream, is to find some distortion, we'll call it distortion finger brackets, or some phonation that is not coming from your vocal folds. So this could either be your false folds, or your false folds and or your cartilage, or your false folds kind of in more of a wave phonation instead of chaotically. So this would sound more like a Kargira. So I know it's like a bastardized Kargira. Okay, don't kill me because I'm not using the like a real throat singer would tell me, no, that's not a Kargira. That's kind of westernized version of the Kargira. Oh yes, mixed drive scream. Yeah, this explains it a lot, but it doesn't really explain like what drives and what are they doing. But in case of the Chester-Bennington scream, it's vocal folds is one drive, right, going into the vocal fry phonation, and then the false folds is another drive that kind of gives that thickness and that fullness to the scream. But where should you start? Is start with finding some type of buzzer sound or rasp or distortion, and some really good cues I can give you to try to find that is either low note, and then so right, that vowel. What also helps is and then if you go, so you kind of really constrict here, not in a I have lots of tension at the vocal folds, but just I constrict a lot. I constrict my pharynx, so that kind of also makes the cartilage and the false folds come really close together. So you just need to raise your voice a little bit, raise the energy a little bit, so that the cartilage start or the false folds start. It's really hard to tell with like this with this kind of sound, because it's definitely also false fold involvement. Could also be that this is also coming from the retinoid cartilage. In other case, it doesn't really matter like where exactly what it is. But if you find more of a buzzer sound, try either taking it higher to get it to isolate into more of a just false fold rasp. You need to become a bit quieter as you go higher, because if you stay loud, if you have false fold distortion going on and you go loud, you will have a buzzer sound. And for a fry scream, will that be the one with breathiness, or will that be like the Chester-Bennington one with vocal fry? You want to have some false fold distortion already going on. But if you're looking for more of a false chord scream, stay with the buzzer, and then see if you can do kind of buzzer sound, and then either take that low, into that, or see if you can kind of do like a caveman. So for some people, it helps to say just remove your voice, like that. For some people, also helps like do a caveman or like an ape voice. And you can see that this is from vocal folds, by the way. So in a false chord scream, vocal folds are not just open and doing nothing, but the vocal folds also produce distortion in a false chord scream. But not want to digress too far. So either take the voice out, take it low, or try to do like an ape voice inside of that. So that way you can go into one of the false chord screams, and yes, there are multiple false chord screams,
Or if you are looking for some type of fry scream or just some type of rasp, see that you can find some false fault distortion. And this you can again do with like the sheep sound. Just a little louder until it comes in. Or what you can also try is learning compression first. So going, and you can feel like where it suddenly like closes and you have some kind of air trapped inside there, and then you can feel it's not a glottal stop. It's not British, right? Harry Potter, right? Where you also feel that your vocal folds closed, but there's no kind of energy, there's no kind of power inside that. Whereas when you go, you feel that there's something closing there. And then once it closed, see if you can just control the closure. And you're gonna feel that. If you do that, like your abs flex. Because that's the same reflex you have also when you do like a heavy squat or a deadlift, right? You go, like to create that power in there. Or also when you're on the, like when you're in the restroom, right? Taking a poop. Right? That's the same thing. Your false folds close. This is what we want to get. This is the compression. False folds close. And that is where kind of this pressure comes from, because now the air is trapped inside. And you can kind of push the air against the false folds to create stability for your core, or to create pressure like to press out the poop. So if you have trouble finding the false fold distortion from a try learning the compression first. And then very important is when you keep that stop and then talk, is make sure that the quality of the voice is still there. So that means that when you so what I don't want to see, right, is that you do compression and then you talk, and then we have something like this going on. Right, where the voice, this felt so rough. Where the voice is not closing properly anymore, right? That is what you heard there, where it became like really like breathy, but not like the good breathy we need for the vocal fry, but kind of vocal folds close, but then also not completely, and then you push air through them. Avoid this. It's gonna hurt you. And the second thing is that, which also happens when people try to learn compression, is that they get some kind of wheezing sound in there. It's like some high-pitched, some kind of squeezed, sounds almost like when you release air from a balloon, and then it just does it like something like this, right? They did it on purpose, and this happens when you do the compression, but either instead of doing the proper compression at the level of the false folds, or in addition to doing the proper compression, you do a glottal stop. So you go not just where you close your false folds, but you also close your vocal folds, and then when you try to scream again, or when you try to talk, your vocal folds don't close normally anymore, but you kind of tell your vocal folds two different things. You tell your vocal folds, stay shut. And also you tell your vocal folds, here comes some air, baby, right? And so what are they going to do? They're going to squeak like a balloon, where you squeeze the air through. And when you get this, you need to start over. Start over. Just that. And then just talk. Don't try to squeeze. I know when you do the, it feels like nothing can go through there, but you can talk. Believe me, you can just talk. And that's the one you need. And you can hear that my voice sounds squeezed. Yes, that's how the compression sounds. If you just have normal vocal fold formation underneath there, and the false folds are not vibrating yet. They are just closing over the vocal folds. But you can hear that when I do this. My voice wants to like flip a little bit around, but you hear that full vocal fold closure. And vocal folds close normally. It does sound squeezed. It does sound like it's covered, because it literally is. But good vocal quality in there. That is what you need to look out for. And then you can carefully become louder and give a little bit more energy to that. So instead of, which is what is happening when I do the I'm not changing volume here. I'm not changing what I give to the note. It's just that I compress more, and as a result of that, my vocal folds sing more chesty. It's also, compression is a little bit of a cheat code to sing really high notes, really powerful, because it allows you to sing higher than you would be able to do. But let's not digress. Is you go from that to this. So from kind of, again, like the vocal fry and then the modes, you go from the kind of really quiet one, to kind of the middle one. You don't want to go to that. That's too loud. But you want to go from to the second one. And you notice how as soon as I do that, like when I have no compression, is that my voice sounds much fuller than before. It kind of sounds not like head voice anymore. But it does sound like a mixed voice, or it definitely sounds chestier. You will also feel this. You will feel the resonance come kind of into your mouth. You will feel it reverberate against your palate, against your soft palate, against your hard palate, and kind of inside of your cheeks. And then that maneuver we want to do, well, we already have some good compression going on. And then at some point you have enough energy, there's enough air pressure inside of your larynx where the false folds will start to move. And that should be your first step towards practicing screaming. And by the way, if you want to, because I've seen that pop up in the chat too, if you want to learn how to sing with rasp, like Kurt Cobain or Jörn Lande or Dio or whatever, also just a light rasp, this is a great tool to get this. Then the degree of distortion will depend on how much I compress. So when I only want to have a light rasp, so maybe something like this. Hey, yeah. So just like a little bit of rasp on my voice for the singing, I only want to have a very light compression. So first, learn the compression. Then learn how to activate your false folds from there. And then practice taking away some of the compression, so the false folds will also move less inside there. And there I have my light rasp. Come as you are. It's me just increasing the compression there. Yeah, okay. So that was what should you start and how should you learn to scream? So your first step should be getting some false fold action going on. And depending on whether you want to go towards a false chord scream or you want to go towards a fry scream, is start to learn false fold distortion. For the fry scream, learn like like kind of this one, so the one that sounds more like distortion, more like rasp. And for the false chord, you should learn the buzzy one, which sits much lower. So it happens when you sing a lower pitch. From there, I can go into a false chord. Another question. So, Mikael from Opeth, that's a very good one. I need to have a listen again, but this is like one of the more unusual screams. I'd say if you want to have a very similar sound to this, is go for this fry scream. Go for the false fold and breathiness fry scream, and then practice getting that quite low. So. And I know it doesn't sound so impressive compared to like how loud the other screams are I do, but volume is not the point, right? Volume is never the point. of course, some stuff only works when you have a certain volume. But as soon as you go, that is for every scream. As soon as you get the sound you're after, always try to reduce. Try to take some of the volume back. And to get it to where it's only the amount of volume, like the minimum amount of volume you need to go to the scream. But, of course, when you do like fry lows, they're going to sound more quiet. Go for a low fry scream. That's one way where you can get this really low sound pretty healthy, pretty like also really effortless. So I'd suggest do a low fry scream there. With some screamers, it's really hard to tell exactly what they're doing, and especially with Mikhail from Opeth, is that I recall. You can point out if I talk out of my ass here. But as far as I recall, is that one of the reasons why he stopped screaming was that the screams always hurt his voice, right? And I wouldn't try to model my scream after a type of scream where I know, like, of course, one is very unique, where you only hear this kind of scream, like from this person, and then there's pretty much no one else that sounds very similar to this. And also we of course know that this person doing this one specific technique also like hurt themselves on a regular basis. And another way would be to go for a low false chord. Now, yeah, okay, let's take a look. Liz Taylor. Oh, and like one thing I also want to address is like I want to give out like a big thank you, right? I never expected my videos to blow up like this. Like that one that how to fry scream in 30 seconds. I just uploaded that as a joke, right? Of course, the method is like what I use to teach people how to fry scream. So like the content is not a joke, but it was like not really intended for anyone to really see that. I originally posted that on my Instagram, just for the fun, and knowing that maybe like 100 people are going to see that or like that, but yeah, it's okay. And then I said, okay, well, let's just post it on YouTube, so I kind of have it archived there, and I don't have to like always look it up on my phone whether like I want to send that to someone. So just have it like on YouTube as an archive. And then like 2 months in, it started to just like pick up steam. Is that how you say it? Just like explode. And yeah, it's totally crazy. And I really do appreciate appreciate every one of you like being here in the live stream, but also watching my videos, commenting on them. And I gotta say, like when I receive a hate comment, it really it like my heart starts to race, because I'm not experienced with dealing with that kind of stuff. My heart starts to race. I start to feel real bad, and like, oh, what did I do wrong? And like, why is there hate comment? Like, such a small part of the comments I get. Lots of comments I get are people like you guys and girls and everyone, like thanking me for the input, and that's very wholesome, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. So thank you. Now, okay, let's take a look at something else. So that scream has a very powerful voice. I realized that seemed close to the microphone. So the microphone technique is one aspect. I can tell you that Sam is probably like the only real true way to really tell this would of course be working with him in person. But from what I know, this technique really is pretty loud. It's about as loud as when you just naturally yell. So, hey, 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 hey! Maybe a little less than that. So it really is pretty loud. And then how far you are at the mic for your screams, of course, depends on your mic technique is in general for live, you want to be really close at the mic, because otherwise you have to turn up the gain on the mic a lot, and then you get, like with live shows, you get lots of bleed from especially from the cymbals, especially with like smaller clubs. That's a huge pain. Is all the bleed you get. So bleed means you get the microphone picks up stuff what you don't want to have on this specific microphone, right? So if I had some kind of background noise in here, you would get bleed. So just ambient noise that is not what you intend to pick up with the microphone. And then if when architects play live, of course they try to be as close to the microphone as they can, so they have like a very low signal to noise ratio, and that is why he's really up close with the mic. But some other techniques, like if you use the false fold and breathiness for ice cream, they are a lot quieter than this. They're not at like talking volume, but if you do really low with that, it is quiet. It is quiet. It is around talking volume. And there, of course, yeah, you also have to be right at the mic. Yeah, thank you, Tyler. Really, really appreciate it. So let's listen to some stuff. The same with the fries can take only with grid. Not really sure what you mean by that. Yes, so pitch, right? How much pitch do I have in my fry screen? You can control this. The false fold and vocal fry screams, like the Chester one and the Sam Carter one, these will always have some degree of pitch. But you can control how much pitch you have in there by adjusting how much you let your voice go into that vocal fry phonation. And this you control, again, with these here. So higher means in generally more vocal fry phonation. False fold distortion and compression will help you get that. Then more open vowel will help you distort that even more, but especially this one. So less support to the note and kind of just letting your voice slip away there. That's how you can control this. So for me, like the point where, let me see if I can show that to you with just with a single note. Not the best example, but you can see how, let me see if I can control how far do I go into the vocal fry phonation. So this will control how little pitch there is inside of the note. And people using this type of technique, they usually have one pitch, where they can go in almost full distortion. Not complete, but almost. And then when they do their shouts, they kind of are just around that single pitch all the time. You can also hear that with Chester, then when he goes, it's just this one pitch all the time. And then when they sing melodies with this, they move the pitch around. God is my witness, he'll say that all is not well. Christ what a sign for sunrise. Sunrise, looking down on us. Right, so this is how I'm singing with this. I maneuver the pitch. You can also do that with the false fold and breathiness fry scream. There, the degree of noise to singing pitch will depend on how much breathiness you give to the note. So when I do no breathiness, and then when I use more breathiness, it becomes less breathy. It becomes less tonal. And when I have it very little breathy, then I can maneuver it around too. Looking down on us. And I can still sing around with this. So this is kind of technique independent. If you want to have it really clear and really really tonal. You don't want to go all the way into a scream. You want to go just singing with false fold distortion. Fear of hurting myself. Yeah, so the fear of hurting yourself, and also the how do I know if I'm screaming correctly. I want to address these first because I go to the examples you showed to me, because I think that is really, really important. So it's the fear of hurting yourself is, and for that I can just tell you, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if your income and your career depend on your voice and your vocal health, do not scream. Period. And if you really want to, learn it with an instructor. Learn it with someone who can give you live feedback on each individual attempt. Sorry. And I know that this is not realistic for everyone. I know that, and it's a pity. But if you are really, if your career, your livelihood, and your income depend on your voice, so you're an actor, you're a teacher, you're a speaker, you're also a salesperson, right? So you have lots of contact with people all of the time, and you need to talk with them, and your performance and your career depends on how healthy your voice is. Or of course, if you are a professional singer, you shouldn't try to learn how to scream. I know that you want to express yourself this way, but if you want to learn that, then do it with a professional and don't try to teach it to yourself, because yes, vocal damage in almost all cases takes a lot of time. This is true. So if you you will not get a nodule by doing something wrong one time. And you can ask almost everyone that's been to a concert and then scream, or like to a club and then scream their lungs out and then was hoarse the next day, that you can do a night of just doing everything wrong and you're not going to hurt yourself. But you can get what's it called? A polyp. You can get a polyp, a vocal polyp, from abusing your voice once in a totally, just using your voice. So the two things that can hurt you there is lots of volume and closing the vocal folds with lots of force. This is not necessarily the same thing, but it's linked to each other. So if you're afraid of hurt, and you can, that is true, is if you go totally nuts and you clench your throat as hard as you can, right? Do a glottal stop, ish, right? Within ish. That's a glottal stop. That's not that's not compression. If you do a glottal stop, so you close your vocal folds and then you blow air as hard as you can onto your vocal folds, you can hurt your voice in just one try. It's not likely, but it's possible. You can hurt yourself in one try if you do it wrong. I'm not going to try to scare every one of you. Yes, nodules is something that develops over time, but you can also hurt yourself in one time. Are you going to lose your voice forever? Probably not. But it is still something, hey, I gotta tell you all about this, right? It's not, look this up, vocal polyp. But so getting back to the fear. So loud and lots of tension. So closing your vocal folds, lots of force. This can hurt you. So what I'd suggest you try to learn first is try to learn Kargira first. So this requires, of course, more volume than just your talking voice. You need to become louder than your talking voice in almost all cases. So, hey! If you can raise your voice and your voice does not break on your voice behaves normally, you are absolutely fine to do it. So try learning Kargira first. I know Kargira is pretty, like not far removed, it definitely helps you learning a false chord scream, is pretty far from what you're probably looking to sound like in the end. But it's a very good beginner exercise where you can start experiencing something else than your vocal folds creating a sound. And you just in your normal life, you also have that, right? When you go, right? When there it is. But of course, you need to pay attention. You can clear your throat also just with your vocal folds. Right? That's just vocal folds. So you need to go a little louder to trigger that. But try to, and then just becoming a little louder. And if it feels uncomfortable, or that is pretty normal that it feels uncomfortable at the start. And even if you do it totally wrong, as long as you do not go with as hard of a force as you can and like as loud as you can possibly, you are very safe. You can never give anyone like total like safety. That's impossible. That's also like with asking like, will screaming affect my voice negatively, right? It's like opera singers hurt themselves too if you use your voice, or if you use the mechanisms in your voice in extreme ways, and if you demand lots of performance from your voice, you are at higher risk of vocal injury. Right? It's just how it is. But try learning Karagura first. And with each and every approach you take, with each and every try you take, and this like affects like each of you, with each and every practice session, each and every single take at trying something, monitor yourself as to how much pressure, how much energy, how much volume do I really need to perform this. And then you're gonna go, even if you're just trying to do Kargira, if you're just trying to do Kargira, you're probably, the first time you're going to unlock it, you're going to be a little too loud. Right? And it's going to feel uncomfortable. Then as soon as you kind of unlock something, or you go to the next, you can go to the next step, is go back. Always go back and evaluate how loud do I need to be to pull this off. So you get your first Kargira. And then see, how loud do I need to be to make the sound? You learn compression. How much you really have to press there? How much that's not needed at all. It's not super, like I'm not going like as hard as I can, right? No. Of course it has some level of oomph to it, right? It does have energy in it. But with each and every try again, once you unlock something, monitor to how loud you really need to be to produce the sound. When you're not loud enough or you don't give enough energy yet, become incrementally louder, just step by step by step. And if you go to a point where this is uncomfortable, then back off. And once you unlock something, and it feels good, see if you can do it again, and then reduce. So just a tiny, tiny bit, right? Just going into the noise, whatever it is, and then seeing, what do I really need to do this? How much energy do I really need? How much pressure do I really need? How loud do I really have to be? Go back. And then once you got it at that point, then go to the next thing. Okay. You guys, I gotta go to the restroom real quick. I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes, and then we're gonna go over some vocalist screaming techniques. All right, see you in 2 minutes. doesn't really make me any more confident. Okay, so I think Scrumbo, I hope you meant me. And if so, then I really appreciate it. But if someone else wasn't in the chat who helped you, that's awesome too. Okay, now let's go to singers' techniques. Save this for last because in the case that they're gonna take down the stream as soon as I start streaming some music, yeah, we have had all of the rest. By the way, stream is going awesome. Let's just see, does everything work? Yeah, stream is going awesome, and I'm planning on doing these every other week. So next stream is gonna happen Saturday the 3rd, same time again. All right, okay. Let's take a look. So, what did you have here also? Our home, overcast. Okay. That's that one. Oop, no, that's not it. Okay, and 040. Okay, let's just like pray to the YouTube gods that they're not going to end the stream when I do that. That's definitely fry scream. I do that with a let's take a look at them live. What do they call our hollow, our home? Am I still live? Okay, did it work? Ah, okay. Spotify's audio is not coming through. Ah, all right. Ah, maybe that was because I did the video desktop audio. So you can't hear Spotify's audio. Okay, that's crazy. But good. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look. Is there like a live version? So that was the part that would that. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look at them live. Sounds awesome, by the way. Oh, sorry, that was our hollow, our home. So that's definitely a fry scream. I'm not too sure whether that is this one or whether that is this one. If you're not very loud with this one, you can also get it to sound really atonal. But it's definitely in the way he delivers that, and also with the volume, and also especially with the range that he does it, that seems like fry scream. So you can get to sound like this. First of all, learn how to use your false folds to produce distortion. Overcast Live is a pretty new one. First, learn how to use your false folds to produce distortion. That's kind of the tone. Let's see if there are some lyrics. There are some lyrics to this. Oh, let me listen one more time here. So that's kind of all coming from this, kind of from this mouth shape, right? I know it sounds really intense and it sounds quite loud and it sounds like he's literally, hey, hey, like at that volume, but he's just, so that's definitely, I'd say that's the one with breathiness. You can also, by the way, again, as you learned, you can use, instead of the breathiness, you can also do vocal fry inside there. And some people are very good at that. I'm much better at this, but both work. For a long one on how to learn that scream, check out the Fry Scream guide on my website. Like singandscream.com/ how to fry scream with minuses in between the words. Okay. What were some other? And it's okay. STFU. One 34. Again, you can't hear the Spotify audio? Can't hear the Spotify audio, right? If I play that here. Yeah, there's nothing coming through. Okay. Okay, there's some effect on there. Fuck up. Okay, like no more live videos coming, yeah. Due to COVID. Let me just hear some. Oh, they changed the vocalist. Oh. So, let's see if they find some screaming there. So who asked about Anne is okay? Do you know whether the screamer who does it is the one they have currently, or like in the STFU song? Yeah, no Spotify audio, YouTube, or YouTube audio, no YouTube audio either. Okay, you can still, but you can see my screen, right? Video capture. Oh, there we get the. Okay, I need to take a look at this for the next time because I do want you guys to hear what I'm hearing too. But now I'm gonna take a look at Anna's okay, STFU at the 134 part, but at like all the screams because it's the same technique there. Come on, show me some screams. Let's go to that one again. That sounds more like the fry scream that has the vocal fry underneath there. Sounds more like that to me because you can hear some of the creakiness inside there. But I want to see something where he screams for a little longer than just that one. Because with screams you can get very similar results. Of course, not the exact same result, but you can get very similar results with different techniques. And sometimes, especially when someone is really good, so one good example is when someone is really good with false chord screams, it's really hard to tell whether they are using a false chord or whether they are using a fry scream. And then so one notorious example is Ben Dur from Shadow of Intent, where it's just really hard to tell exactly what is going on because the screams sound really beefy and they have that inside there, like that rumble. But then at the same time, the way he delivers his lines and the way he switches so fast from low and high, that points me more towards that this is a fry screen, because with false chords, you run out of air really fast. So you can get very similar results with different techniques. Yeah, I need to take a look at the like streaming the audio to you too. I have the desktop audio enabled, but for some reason it doesn't allow you to hear it. Ah, now I know why that could be. See? Okay, let's try that. Okay, no, that didn't do the trick yet, because I think because it's running through my interface. Oh yeah, now you should be able to hear that. But now it's really quiet for me. So I have to switch back. So this is the scream there. Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck! You can hear kind of shut up! You can kind of hear this vocal breakish quality in there. Right? You can hear how it sounds kind of whiny in a way. Shut the fuck up! Shut. Hard to hear what the pitch is inside here, but I would say that this is the you can get a very similar sound with by the way, with a voicey false chord. Shut the fuck up! Right, that works. But I'd say that this is which you very often see like in music that kind of came like from hardcore, is that you see this kind of scream, right? So the one you can access with this one, also the one we discussed with the whole Chester Bennington thing, that's that one. Pretty sure that this is the one. And you can see that in this case, it's like really broken up. And you can also hear that he does all the screams on the same pitch. More of that choosier sound. Is that like my English failing me, or is that not a word? Or that I just don't know what that word. Huskier. Okay, look, give me a second. Huskier. Ah, yeah, exactly. You're right. Yes. And that points me towards that this is a vocal fry inside there. Okay, do you think take a look if there were some other mentions a little higher up. Jared Leto. Yes, that's a very good example. You can hear that in the kill, right? There. So where is that? There you can hear that. How he lets his voice slip into that vocal fry by giving it a little bit less support. Bury me. Right, that's just normal singing, false, and well, I don't want to stream too much, by the way. There you can hear how it comes in, right? Yeah, that's exactly the same type. That's vocal fry and false at the same time. So that's this one here. Okay. See, I'm always nervous about them taking down the stream. Taking down the scream. Yeah, exactly, Marcel. Yeah. Yeah, Gray Days. Sometimes acoustic. Okay. Is that maybe? Like sometimes acoustic version, right? Yeah. Okay. So this. The Jared Leto part.
So when I do that, it's a little bit quieter than when I do that without vocal fry. Show! Show! This was me by the end. In the end, it started sounding creaky. You heard that, and that was me becoming too quiet. But the scream is a little bit, and that's a good pointer to know where these screams are kind of are around in terms of volume. If you were to sing that note without any distortion, just clean voice, chesty, yeah, the scream is kind of just under that. It's just a bit quieter than this, but still a little bit louder than singing it heady. Yeah, it's kind of in between there. So you have your, like the heady voice, like the heady mix, or like reinforced falsetto, like however you want to call it, or curbing, like if you want to talk CVT. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of a little under there. So it's still pretty loud, but it's not as loud as me singing that cleanly. Yeah, I hope so. That is fair because it's for instructional purposes. But yeah, you you never know. Affects the letter part. Yeah, so I know what is deceiving when you hear these screams is that they sound so loud, right? And they are loud, but they are not louder than if you were to sing that note cleanly with chest voice. What makes them appear really loud is that there is the distortion in them. And the distortion is pretty high in terms of the frequency range, like around 1,000 to 3,000 hertz. And that area, your ear is just very receptive to. So when you have its extra sonic content, so the sound pressure levels inside the room is less, but there is more sonic content. There are more frequencies in it because it's not just a pitch and its overtones, but it's a pitch and its overtones and many, many, many more tones. And this is what gives the illusion of it being even louder than me yelling. And also inside of the mix, vocal fry and fry screaming noises are two different techniques. And how long have I been doing vocals? I've been singing for since I was like 14. So that is, yeah, a little over 12 years. And I've been doing rough vocals for about 4 years. But I'm gonna tell you, I had like really, and I think that gives me kind of an edge as a teacher, is that for the longest time I always wanted to be able to scream, always, just from the very start of where I wanted to learn how to sing. So I wanted to learn how to sing raspy, right? Like what inspired me to become a vocalist? Sonic Adventure 2. Live and Learn. Yeah, GameCube game. Awesome soundtrack, awesome singer, Johnny Joeli. One of my shook hands with the guy, right? Yeah, it was a big moment for me. And like from the very start, I wanted to learn how to sing with distortion and also how to scream. But I had so much trouble doing it. And like back then, there was no information like at all. Right? There was like the DVD you all know about. But like real information, real tutorials, other than guys telling you, yeah, do this noise and then try not to suck. That's pretty much it. And so I devoured like almost everything. Every show I played, when there was a guy who could scream, I went after him like, how do you do it? And like most of the time the answer was, I don't know. Or I just kind of like do and then loud. Not really helpful. And then yeah, pretty much like devoured everything there is, or like almost everything. You can never like devour everything, but like almost everything there is, especially the laryngoscopies and the endoscopies that there are, and then kind of bit by bit, also with lots of help from others. So I was
For a long time, I was in the subreddit, and also in the subreddit's Discord server, and that was a really great time. Lots of cool people on there. Just us discussing harsh vocals all the time, and then learning from others, kind of seeing, okay, how do they approach this? How do they approach this? And then also, of course, from newbies coming in, teaching them in there, hey, like try this, try this, try this, try this. And that is how I, yeah, you know, live and learn. Live and learn! Was that like maybe a little bit too high? Oh, that's it. Live and learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Yeah, that was what I wanted to be able to, what I wanted to sing as a child. Where did I come from now? Like, yeah, look, for how long have I been singing? So yeah, long. But I had really so much trouble with screams. Like, so much trouble with screams. And with screaming, it's kind of like with instruments. Kind of the more things you can do, the more different styles you can do, the easier it kind of becomes to learn new stuff. But yeah, I was through it, like absorbing every piece of information I could get, trying out everything, nothing working, me wrecking my voice every single show, me going hoarse every time I try to learn how to scream. Yeah, been there, done that. Now, oh yeah, City Escape. Oh my god, we're in nostalgia town. Okay, everyone looking. Working with lots of my fry scream, tone quiet and confused. Vocal fry, grit, and fry screaming grudge noise are two different techniques. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Wait. So vocal fry and the grudge noise. Well, you can do the grudge noise with different mechanisms. You can do the grudge noise with a vocal fry. So that's vocal fry. You can do a grudge noise with false folds. And you can hear that when you do that with the false folds, it sounds way wetter. It sounds really wet. It sounds wet and also kind of more like present, like has more overtones, whereas the vocal fry kind of sounds like really, yeah, also really vocal, kind of human. And the false fold grudge noise, that one sounds much more wet and much more monstrous in a way. It's like much less tonal, much less voicey, like no voice, because this is literally only my false folds. And so these two are different things. And then grit, I refer to grit as false fold distortion. So you sing, and you bring your false folds in there. So I hope that clears it up for you. And of course, well, when you do screams, depending on what type of scream you do, you can use different parts. You can do this type of phonation with your vocal folds. So you can do the vocal fry with your vocal folds, and then you can do the false fold distortion at the same time. Or you can do which is something you hear in the fry shout. Or you can do the or you can sing underneath with your vocal folds and then just have the false folds on top. Or you can have like that really, right? Which is with no breathiness yet. It's just very high compression. False folds produce distortion, and I'm singing a note underneath there, but it's like really subtle in there because I'm not very loud, and also because like when I have lots of compression that can muffle the voice, right? A little compression, high compression, really muffles the voice inside there because, of course, your voice is covered by your false folds. So it doesn't get buried. Could you elaborate on the Spencer Sotelo high grit singing, the type of distortion? I know you had a video on this, but you deleted it. No, didn't delete anything. The Spencer Sotelo high grit singing
So just sing it with rasp, some compression, false fault distortion. Right? Normal vocal fold phonation. And then on some of the notes, he also changes up the type of phonation with his vocal folds. So his vocal folds also go into more of a chaotic type of phonation. So where you have this kind of extra distortion in there. But also the video is going to be uploaded, so you can kind of watch it from the start, where I did a lengthy discussion about the Chester Bennington screaming technique, because it's fundamentally the same. Okay, when I try to scream with no words, I've got a decent sound, but often when I try to sing, yeah. So this came up again, is that I can do the scream sound, like for the type of scream I'm after, but I cannot, Villanova, if you wanna learn about that scream, take a look at that how to scream like Sam Cotter video of me, or rewatch the live stream. I'm always in my struggling with doing words, and that is very common. And that is because you kind of have to relearn how to talk a bit, because as soon as we start thinking about words, our brain goes into, oh, so now you want to talk, right? So you're going back into this kind of talking mode, whereas staying in the scream. So what I suggest there is do your scream on the vowel that your scream is easiest for you. Most of the time, just like an ah or an ah, like yeah, and then you're just gonna try and do a different vowel on it, slowly morphing from one vowel to the next. Going through the different vowels. And then, once you can do each of the vowels, you're gonna go and do a voiced consonant. So, ma, ma, and not thinking about, okay, now I'm gonna talk, but literally just, okay, now I'm closing my mouth. Still doing a noise. Yeah, ma, ma. Then you're gonna go through all of the voiced consonants. H, h, n, z. Some of them are gonna be harder, some of them are gonna be easier. And then you're just going ma, 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 la, 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 me, ne, 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 like this. And then you're gonna try a voiceless consonant. So ma, 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 ta, ma, ka, ma, ka. Just really breathe. So the voiced consonant, the voiceless consonant, so k, t, p, these need to be very short. Breathe. And don't think about stopping the airstream when you do this. One consistent airstream. Ma, ta, ka, la, ra. Like that. And once you can do that, then try some words. But slowly, not in the time of the song, but just try to read something doing this. And not thinking about, okay, now I'm talking, but just one consistent breath. And then, hey man, I'm almost in with my fry scream, but I'm struggling with adding power and making it sound good. Just like that. Yeah, grade A's. All right, yeah, good. Okay, so we need to start coming to an end, but I'm gonna take a look at that. But do I have a band? Yes, I do have a band. I have a solo, so this is my band. Amantis, look at me, Mr. Babyface over here. It's more rock music. And then I have a solo project. So we're just, just me, no one other that interferes with my creative vision. And that's called Weidenauer, like just my last name. Like. So So if you want to, you can check this out. But like, not needed if you don't like the music. Of course, don't listen to it. Okay, so Amantis and Weidenauer. Now let's take a look. Oh, and there's also some more obscure. Like, check this out. This is my old band. Oh no, it's not on there anymore. I need to upload it again. So Gray Days. That was 36. Sounds very similar to Chester in a way, right? I don't know. At the don't, yeah. This is compression. Just loud enough to go into the false fault distortion. And then a little bit of vocal fry. Did you hear where I added that? I don't know. Right there. That's that type of scream. Okay, yeah, I'm German, right? In case Weidenauer didn't point that out to you. Okay. Yeah, it's a name for some counter technique. Some call that yell scream. I call that fry shout. Some also call that sing screaming. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you looking at the content, Bruno. Doing all of these screen things. It's a 13-year-old. Like, responsible thing to do is, if you really want to learn it with a teacher. Because you're still growing up, right? And your voice, you're not through puberty yet, so your voice is gonna change. So I'd say learn singing first, and then when you're 15, 16, and your voice has kind of settled, then try approaching this again. Great content, give us so much valuable info. Yeah, really, really appreciate that. What song is this? Oh wait, this is Chester Bennington. What? Nah, I didn't even know that. How can you do high screams? So, we're approaching the 2-hour mark, and we're gonna continue with. So we want to do the next live stream on what's that? April 3rd, same time again. Really appreciate all of you being here. It's really awesome, and I think I'm kind of like really grooving into this. It's so much fun. Really, yeah, it's great days sometimes. Really enjoyed it. Really appreciate how active you are in the chat and how. Yeah, it's great. It's so much fun. We're gonna continue with that. The short Chester Bennington video is gonna come. Gonna see if I can do it tomorrow, because of lots of stuff to do. Maybe it's gonna be early next week, but it's gonna be in that 30 second format, because I think, that's just like very appreciated. If you want to have the long explanation, you can check out the live stream, the recording of the live stream, and yeah, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it, and hope you all have a good